I've often talked about how free-to-play games has become one of the core offerings on the PlayStation 4. Heading into this generation, if you told me that free-to-play was going to be big on the PS4, that might have made me a little bit skeptical. However, if you actually look at the depth of free-to-play games and how many quality free-to-play games that are available on the PlayStation 4, that's a great thing, because alongside all of those games you're paying $60 for, there is this subsect of games that are available for free. Yes, they have microtransactions, but still, to get into the game, it is absolutely free, and that's what I want to highlight in this video specifically. I want to highlight 10 amazing free-to-play PlayStation 4 games that you can easily spend over 100 hours on, and with all of these games, honestly speaking, 100 hours is taking it a little bit lightly. You could probably spend over 1,000 hours in some of these games. But without further ado and any more hyperbole, let's just get right into it, and I want to kick it off with a very recently released free-to-play game, and that is Dauntless. Dauntless is a game that I covered quite a bit heading into its release, and I was very excited for it. It's a game that takes place in a fantasy setting where a cataclysmic event has torn the world apart, releasing monstrous creatures known as behemoths that prey on the surviving humans that are left. You, the player, take on the role of a slayer, and what do you do? Well, obviously, that's to take down the behemoths, and after you take down a behemoth, you're gonna collect loot, you're gonna upgrade your character, and then you're gonna hunt even bigger behemoths, even badder behemoths, get more loot, and this cycle of life continues. Now, if I explain that game to you, a lot of you guys are gonna think, and this was a big comparison ahead of the game's release, that sounds a lot like Monster Hunter. Well, it is a lot like Monster Hunter, and with Monster Hunter World being out, yes, this game does have a little bit of competition, but Dauntless offers its own unique playstyle as well. It is a free-to-play game. They've kept it consistently updated. Not to say Capcom has done a bad job with MH World. MH World is tremendous, but Phoenix Labs has offered something of quality with Dauntless, and if you like the Monster Hunter playstyle, Dauntless is going to be right up your alley as well. I'm not saying one game is better than the other, but just know both games are available on the PlayStation 4, and both games are worth playing, and Dauntless being a free-to-play title, with all the content that it has, I would highly recommend it, and this is a game that you'll want to have a couple of friends also downloaded. You'll want to play it together, and then you'll get the best experience possible, but nonetheless, a game that you can invest a lot of time into. Next up, I do want to mention GWENT, the Witcher card game. Now, yes, this is a card game, so you might be thinking, for those of you that aren't big into card games, can I really invest 100 hours into a card game? Well, once you get into a card game, yes, you can easily invest 100 hours. Hell, if you get super engaged, you're going to be spending well over 1,000 hours depending on how consistently you play the game. I've been big into card games for a long time, whether it be tabletop games like Yu-Gi-Oh!, whether it be digital card games like Hearthstone, or GWENT, the Witcher card game. GWENT is available directly on the PlayStation 4, and it's a great card game. I'm sure that everyone saw the success of a game like Hearthstone and realized that card games, digital card games especially, is a market that has a lot of potential. GWENT obviously is based on Witcher, and the game itself features several modes of play. There's a standard casual play that allows players to challenge one another, whereas in ranked play, you compete in order to increase in a tier ladder system. The game is constantly updated, and of course there is an arena mode as well that'll make a little bit more of an interesting playstyle. Card games are card games. Mechanically, GWENT is a good one, and if you like Witcher as an IP, there's going to be a lot of fan service in there as well, so as a card game, I wanted to give that a mention, but one, again, you can spend a lot of time with. Next up, we have Neverwinter. Neverwinter is an MMORPG that's been around for a very long time, and now it's available on the PlayStation 4. It's a free action MMORPG based on the acclaimed Dungeons & Dragons fantasy RPG. Epic stories, action combat, and classic role-playing await those heroes courageous enough to enter the fantastic world of Neverwinter. Whether you play tabletop or immerse yourself in Dungeons & Dragons story, experience iconic locations, classes, and encounters with both heroes and villains on your journey through the Forgotten Realm. It's also got incredibly engaging action combat. Move swiftly and boldly through your encounters to maximize your effectiveness. Every attack, ability, and dodge will require planning, reflexes, and precise execution. This is a game that's been around for a very long time, but it's remained at the forefront of a lot of free-to-play games, so on the PlayStation 4, it's done pretty well. Another one to give a look to. Moving on from that, next up we have a first-person shooter in Warface. Now, Warface saw a little bit more of a mixed reception. The reviews, if you look at the Metacritic score, it's not all too positive. However, I still thought it was a rather decent first-person shooter, and if you want a first-person shooter that's free-to-play, the options are a little bit sparse, but Warface does act as a pretty good one. It's a contemporary MMO first-person shooter with millions of players around the world. It offers intense PvP modes, compelling PvE missions as well, and raids that you can challenge yourself with 4 diverse classes and a colossal customizable arsenal. Another game that's been updated pretty frequently, and it makes a pretty smooth transition over to the PlayStation 4. Again, you've got PvP, you've got PvE, you've got diverse classes, an enormous arsenal that is fully customizable. A lot of depth to Warface, and I would definitely give it a look. Okay, next up we have Warframe. Warframe is another one of those free-to-play games that's been around for quite a while. Since the early days of the PlayStation 4, Warframe has been one of those consistent games that has always been played, but now it has just gotten better and better and better. After all of the updates, the expansions, Warframe has become an incredibly compelling experience, and Warframe is probably the main game and the main talking point when people compare games like Destiny to. Warframe is just such a compelling game, and it's absolutely free. It offers so much content. Yes, is it a little bit grindy? Of course, but the gameplay is satisfying, and everything that the game offers from its depth, with more than 30 Warframes, each fully customizable with their own unique abilities. The game gets a lot to get engaged into. Also, you can assemble your arsenal with a variety of different weapons, whether it be katanas, crossbows, flamethrowers. Expand your arsenal with more than 300 diverse weapons and modify each one to match your playstyle, and it's got incredibly fast-paced combat as well. As far as all of the free-to-play games go that are available on the PlayStation 4, a lot of them are games that, you know, they probably are better suited on PC, but they make a decent transition. Warframe is a game that right away on the PlayStation 4 plays so naturally, and I would give it an incredibly strong recommendation, and a game that's just gotten so much better since it was initially released. When Warframe originally came out, it did have its fair share of issues, but if you compare the game to what it was at launch to what it is now, man oh man has Warframe made incredible strides. Next up, we've got the multiplayer shooter sensation in Paladins. Paladins is a free-to-play fantasy team-based shooter, wield guns and magics as a legendary champion of the realm, customizing your core set of abilities to play exactly how you want to play. This is a champion-based game. Paladins is set in a vibrant fantasy world and features a diverse cast of champions ranging from sharpshooting humans to mech-riding goblins, mystical elves, and jetpack-clad dragons. Each champion brings a unique set of abilities to the battlefield, and new champions are regularly added to Paladins, keeping the game exciting at all times. Again, another game that is consistently updated. And the game really caters to a wide array of different playstyles. No matter what your playstyle is, you'll find it in Paladins. With Paladins' deck building system, you can become an iron sight sniper, a grenade slinging explosives expert, or a track star with an assault rifle, all as the same champion. Choose from dozens of cards to customize your abilities and make each champion your own. There's a lot of depth to the game, a lot of customizability, and another game that if you get hooked on, you can spend a lot of time with. Okay, moving on from that, if we talk free to play, of course we gotta mention a couple of Battle Royale titles. I want to first mention Realm Royale. Realm Royale came a little bit later on into the free-to-play wave. However, Realm Royale is a pretty good free-to-play game. Be the last champion standing in Realm Royale, loot deadly weapons and powerful abilities to create your own champion, explore a fantasy world from horseback while outrunning the deadly fog. Can you survive the first 100-person fantasy battle royale? Call your friends, it's time to stand up, help your team by dropping a healing team, or fire a flare into the sky to reveal incoming enemies. By working together as a team, the crown royale could be yours. Wield awesome abilities, discover powerful abilities scattered across the realm, soar through the skies, slinging spells while your team deploys deadly turrets and shields. Flank the enemy with the stealthy ghost walk, leaving behind a proximity mine for them to discover when it's too late. Customize your champion each game with the abilities best suited for the battle at hand. Throughout the game, you'll also forge legendary weapons and mount up to explore the realm. Another battle royale game. I know some of you guys have just been naturally off-putted by the games, but if you're still into the battle royale wave, or you just want a quality multiplayer game to jump in with your friends, I think Realm Royale is going to offer you something of quality. Okay, speaking of battle royale, I also wanted to give a mention to Apex Legends, another game that so many have gotten incredibly invested into, but it has lost a little bit of its luster. When Apex Legends originally released back in February of this year, Respawn just did a tremendous job in capturing gamers' imagination and getting gamers hooked right from the get-go. I never really saw a game so quickly captivate gamers. However, in recent months it has fallen off a little bit, but it still offers a quality battle royale experience. Of course, Respawn, the guys that also did Titanfall, the gameplay is very reminiscent of that. It's fast-paced, it's fun. I hope the game can continue to make some strides and become a better experience as the months roll on. Again, the interest in the game has dissipated a little bit, but I still feel like there's quite a bit to enjoy with Apex Legends. Okay, next up, the action-based MMORPG in Tera is another great free-to-play offering. I know that Tera is another game that's been out for a very long time. However, this is the kind of MMO that I also feel is very catered towards a console player, being that it does have this true action combat. It even touts experience an action MMO that goes beyond point and click. In Tera, it's your skill, position, timing, and aim that determine the outcome of combat, and that action combat is quite good. Tera has had its ups and downs, but overall, the experience that you're getting now on the PlayStation 4 I think is rather compelling, and with that combat system, with all the the content that it offers, with the fact that it's consistently updated, I think Tera is a worthwhile experience to get into. And lastly, quite possibly the most expansive and time-consuming free-to-play game on the PlayStation 4, save the best for last, and that is Path of Exile. Path of Exile is another very recent free-to-play release on the PlayStation 4. It's been around for a very long time on PC, but in the game, of course, you are an exile struggling to survive on the Dark Continent as you fight to earn power that will allow you to exact your revenge against those who wronged you. Created by hardcore gamers, Path of Exile is an online action RPG set in a dark fantasy world. Now, if you're familiar to dungeon crawling titles such as Diablo, you're gonna feel right at home with Path of Exile. It has its own elements, and it still holds up as a phenomenal game, and Grinding Gear Games have done a tremendous job in consistently updating the game. The Legion update added a lot of new content, and then you look at the past updates as well, it has just gotten better and better. And do keep in mind, this just came out back in May on the PlayStation 4, and hopefully as the months progress, the experience does continue to get better and better, and they are trying for parity with the PC version and the console version, so that is always much appreciated. But bear in mind that if you're getting into Path of Exile, be prepared to clear out hundreds of hours of gameplay time, because this is a game that you are going to spend so much time into, but it's quality time as well, and it's incredibly rewarding with that fact as well. And that's gonna conclude this video. I hope I was able to highlight some free-to-play titles on the PlayStation 4 that you should be playing, and even though these games are free, you can spend so much time with them, and I know the inherent thought is, but do I have to spend a lot of money for the majority of these games? Even if you play them completely free, a game like Dauntless, a game like Path of Exile, you can play those games without ever dropping a dime. You'll probably get so engaged to the game that you might want to drop a couple bucks, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. That's gonna conclude this video. Do sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.